and welcome back to the From the Nosebleeds podcast, season 4, episode 4. I'm Thomas Pocrnic, joined by Thomas, Coburn, and producer Paolo Gismondi. Coburn, it's been a while, man. What's going on? How have you been?
You know, I was about to say good, but that would be a little bit would it be a little bit rude since we've abandoned our fans for 3 weeks, I think. Is it 2 or 3 weeks?
It's like you're just living this fantastic life without
right.
them. To my recollection, the last time we did a podcast, Tyreek Hill was not on the Dolphins, so that's noteworthy. I think we talked about Russell Wilson. Maybe did we even talk about
Devontae Adams after it all happened after, right after we recorded. So we'll talk about Deebo and DK today. So they will be traded in
the next
2.5 hours. They'll both be
roughly
gone. So that'll be good. And this podcast will be just useful, or not useful, useless.
Just like the last one was. But I thought the last one was a lot of fun. So of course it was posted anyways.
Exactly.
There's still a little bit of relevant conversation. You know, Russell Wilson. I think we talked about maybe Bobby Wagner too. We'll talk a little bit about free agency today, even though things have really died down. Also today, that is again noteworthy. You have your Toronto Blue Jays hat on. You have
a golf hat on. Look at this.
Yeah, the Masters.
There you go.
We should have done something Masters. We should have planned for, our top. I don't know.
Okay, how about this? At the end of this episode, we'll say who's the best golfer in the NFL, and you have to think about it on the fly. Think about it.
Sounds good.
There you go.
Today's the home opener for the Toronto Blue Jays. Yesterday was opening day in Major League Baseball. You and I will both be in the building, in the dome tonight.
Yes. Brand new scoreboard too.
I did not know that. So
yeah, well, you'll get to see it.
So after we talk a little bit about the star wide receivers that are making some buzz in the trading game right now, we'll get into a little bit about NFL themed MLB talk. So that should be exciting, but we'll start off with our friends DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel. Both of them are sort of teased. Like, I feel like if this were a busier time in the offseason, this would kind of be a non-story, but they've sort of been in trade talks. Deebo Samuel is pulling Kyler Murray. He's unfollowing his team and deleting Instagram posts, which I'm just so sick of players doing. And DK Metcalf, it's just kind of in a situation where he needs a new contract. Seattle's not going to be good. At least we don't think they're going to be good the next year or two. If they want to move him before they pay him, now is sort of their chance, and they can get some pretty good value for him because he's still on a cheap deal for one more year.
Yeah, here's the thing. So you mentioned who knows if they'll both get traded, whatever. You're right. It is the most quiet. Well, it's not the most quiet time of the offseason, but we're still kind of too far away from the draft for like talks to really go crazy. I don't think both of them are still on their teams next year. I think one of them gets moved. I think it's probably DK. It just makes too much sense, right?
Like it does make sense. And it's an opportunity for Seattle to, like, again, they're rebuilding. Maybe they don't want to pay him this top dollar. We see what receivers are going for right now. It's crazy. $27 million is probably what he's going to ask for, assuming he has another good season next year. They could get some real good value for him. I read a rumor that first-round picks are even being offered, which is really, really good considering what some of the wide receivers have gone for in the trade market this year. The Deebo one, though, I really, really don't understand because he's such a key player for them, and they're competing. Their Super Bowl window is now. So to me, it's not like Seattle where, okay, let's get some value. Let's go back to the drawing board, retool with some picks, and 5 years from now, hopefully we'll be good. Without Deebo Samuel, the 49ers are a shell of themselves.
And here's the thing also with Deebo that makes it interesting with trade talks is he's used in such a unique way, and he's great in such a unique way that obviously he has so much talent, but does that translate as much to other teams? And is there a team that's going to make that trade and give him a boatload of money? And it's just not going to work as well. It's like not many teams can use their wide receiver as a running back like they did last year, and it just worked flawlessly. So I don't know, even like out of the two names, him and DK, it's kind of like, it almost feels like DK is a safer option.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because you don't really, like you said, necessarily have to have this elaborate scheme around him. You can sort of just plug and play in there. Tell him, hey, DK, run in a straight line, get open, and our quarterback will hit you wide open 40 yards down the field because he's that dominant physically, right?
Yeah.
So if looking at these two guys and looking at some of the teams that have popped up here in trade talks and rumors, I will go 3 landing spots for each of them, sort of in order of what you think could happen. I mean, you already made the bold statement that one of them is not going to be on the same team next year. So let's see where you could have these guys ending up. We'll start with DK, the more
Good choice.
one.
I wanted to start with DK. Okay, so you want to go 1 and 1, or should we just do 3 and 3? It's up to you.
I feel like we could have some overlap, but we'll go 1 and 1.
Okay. So I'll go with my first one, which I don't think you'll have, which is the Lions.
Ooh.
And just because a trade in the draft makes so much sense. Like, I think the Seahawks are picking 9, right? Have I missed a thought? No, they're picking 9.
No, they are, or they may be picking 10 now after their Wilson trade. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, they're right there. I'm pretty sure it's 9. I'm almost positive. So I think this is a scenario where people know they're looking at a quarterback. I don't know if it's as simple as, and I don't know how Lions fans would feel about it. I don't know how Seahawks fans would feel about it, but what if you just swap picks and we get DK? I think it works for the Lions in terms of we don't have a physical receiver. We need that big guy like DK. It would work in our offense. We have Chark on a 1-year deal. Who knows what's going to happen there? Other than that, you got St. Brown, good, but not a one. It's a need. And I think if you're the Seahawks, you go and get, let's say Malik Willis, but whoever they want, you get your QB, you get your rebuild started, and it feels like a clean deal.
I'm not really pleased with the Amon-Ra St. Brown, not a 1 talk coming from.
Well, he's not a
fan.
1.
Oh, he'll be one day. Don't worry.
He'll never be a 1.
Amon-Ra St. Brown wide receiver 1 season is on its way. But I like that. And I think, if you're the Lions sitting at 2, let's be honest, this draft class is not very top heavy. You move down to 10 or 9, the drop off in talent is not as great as it is in prior years. And you get a guy like DK Metcalf who can come in, make an impact right away. And now you're starting to see, hey, the Lions are a team that they're filling a lot of the holes on their roster, and they're starting to maybe compete in a NFC North that I think is a division that you can compete in. It's not the craziest, toughest division in the NFL. So I really like that trade. And I'm not a Lions fan, but I would think the Lions fans would agree with you there. I'm going to stick with the NFC North, and I'm going to say the Green Bay Packers. I think you lose Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, his weapons are, they even lost Marquez Valdez-Scantling, right? So the weapons aren't as great in Green Bay as they used to be. A lot of people think they're going to use maybe both first-round picks to get a wide receiver, but why not? Maybe you can avoid trading one of the firsts, maybe give up a second or something and try and pry away DK Metcalf, because that would be one of the best replacements for Devontae Adams and a guy that Aaron Rodgers could really get the best out of from day one.
Yeah, so that was one of my teams. So thank you for stealing one of my answers.
No problem.
We're on the same wavelength here. I think it's a great, even if you have to, so they have 2 first. Like, let's say you give 1 up. Like, obviously you wouldn't have to give up both, but even if you had to give up 1, it's like, what are the odds you're going to get a receiver that's better than DK in the draft this year?
Exactly.
Not like, you have to nail your pick, and like, sure, it's possible, but, and then maybe it pairs well with, you get DK with whatever, you get rid of one of your picks, and then you do take another rookie wide receiver. And then you got, he's not exactly a veteran wide receiver, but he's an established top 10 receiver, depending on who you ask. And then you got your rookie to pair with him, I think. And then it's just in one off season, the offense is completely back to what it was last year, but possibly better, depending on who they get in the draft.
Yeah. Everyone's saying this is a pretty loaded wide receiver class. If people are going to praise the draft class, that's the one thing that they'll point to. It's deep at wide receiver. So if you were to get one of these guys who looks pretty exciting, and you have DK Metcalf, not saying that's an upgrade on Devontae Adams, but even for cap reasons, that's very, very good, because it's a lot cheaper and you're going to get at least similar production with a quarterback as good as Aaron Rodgers. All right. So you also had the Packers. So I guess it's back to me over here. I guess we'll go boring and go New York Jets. I do have one more that I don't think you'll have, but I'll get
I have the Jets. So give me the other team.
Okay. So There we go. The Jets are off the table. We can talk about them in a second of why I think it's going to work. I have the New Orleans Saints written down. So here's my thinking with this
I
one.
don't like that. Convince me.
Convince you. Okay. So
Yeah.
everyone is surprisingly low on the Saints this year. Like, it's a bad division, but everyone's completely counting them out. And I'm not saying that they're going to compete with Tampa, but if you look at their roster and if you compare it to what it was last season, I mean, that defense is pretty good. And I know some of their players are getting older, but you bring back Jameis Winston, who was what, 5-2, 6-2 as a starter in New Orleans last year. They really fell apart after he went down with that ACL injury. Get him some more weapons. We saw what he was able to do in Tampa with Godwin and Evans. Michael Thomas should be back. Hopefully, that's already an upgrade on what they had last year. Go out and get a guy like DK Metcalf, who I think complements Michael Thomas really well. The offensive line, yeah, they lost Teron Armstead, but it's still pretty good. Like, you're starting to look at a team that I think definitely has wild card potential here in New Orleans already. And you bolster that roster with DK Metcalf. Yes, Alvin Kamara, still some legal things, a bit of a question mark for next season with what happened this offseason. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Saints next year. Like, I'm looking at this roster now. I think they're going to win 8 games already.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's a fair point. I think we look at that team completely differently. I think they should blow it up. So like you
fair.
said,
That's definitely fair.
Like, let's say you get DK. It's like, they're kind of just middling in the middle of nowhere. It's like, okay, yes, you get DK and what? Maybe you like have an upset playoff win, which is, that's great for most organizations. But I feel like the Saints kind of hold themselves to a higher standard than that. I think it's time to just kind of scrap everything. You're up against the cap. It's like, this isn't going to help by getting, you're going to just be reworking the cap every year like they have for, I don't know, it feels like the last part of Breeze's career. I don't know. I get the argument. I think it's time to just, trade everyone and rebuild for a couple of years. But I get what you're saying.
Can I throw in one more team? When you just
Yes.
said, yeah, get an upset playoff win, a new team sparked into my head that maybe has bigger ambitions with this because they're a little younger. The Philadelphia Eagles. They need a wide receiver.
It makes, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. And then him and Devontae Smith would be a crazy combo. It just feels like the Eagles are like getting ready to trade up next year for a quarterback.
Yeah.
So
true. Plus Jalen Reagor is still
well, he's the best wide receiver on the team by far.
That's true. So I you know what? I totally forgot about that. So I kind of feel silly now. The Jets. We both said the Jets missed out on Tyreek Hill. That was my whole thinking about it. They have the picks, they have the ammunition, and clearly they want to be aggressive in getting Zach Wilson a better option. So I'm sure, like, is that your sort of school of thought as well?
Yeah, it's the most chalk pick, but it's chalk for a reason. It just makes the most sense out of realistically any of the teams we've mentioned. They seem desperate to get him a wide receiver. DK's that guy. I think it's just, I mean, like, I'll reach ahead too. Deebo, I put the Jets for Deebo too. It's like, it's just, yeah, it's like you just.
Actually, I didn't. I did not put the Jets for Deebo.
Well, it would make sense either way. It's like, you got to get him. They want to get him someone. So go out there and make it happen. Was it rumored that they offered them, the Seahawks, the 10th pick and they said no?
The Jets?
Yeah. I saw that somewhere. I don't know how true that is. I did see that
for DK, and that I wasn't sure if that was true, but I did read that. I also thought I read someone that refuted that report. Regardless, it was published that happened. Yeah. Whether it was credible or not, it is in the news. And yeah, the thing with the Jets though, they almost got Tyreek Hill without giving up any first round picks. So that would have been a pretty impressive trade. But I guess we're moving on to Deebo now. You had him going to the Jets. I didn't. My overlap with Deebo, I also had him going to the Packers. I just think it's that same thing. Get Aaron Rodgers a weapon. I don't think I'll really have to waste any more time on that. Who else do you have him going to?
Quickly, I did think about the Packers. It makes sense. I just don't know if the 49ers are going to make that trade if they still view themselves as content. It's like that you're going to make the Packers unreal. First team's the Ravens. Ooh. I think Deebo to the Ravens would be really good. I think like DK with Lamar, I don't know if that works, but Deebo's just perfect for him. They can, obviously their run game is explosive. If Deebo gets involved in that, and he's also just a receiver over the middle, Lamar can throw him the ball. It just makes, I feel like it's a trade that would just make Lamar's life way easier in the passing game, which is something it feels like the Ravens have been desperately trying to do since he became their starter. I think it's a great fit.
Having to game plan for Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, and Deebo Samuel in the running game is just that would be a nightmare. So I actually really like that pick, and I'm a little bit disappointed in myself that I didn't think of that. But similar in terms of power run, I put the Tennessee Titans down. You lost Julio Jones, AJ Brown's still there. The only reason I don't think this could happen is because AJ Brown is also from that same draft class. He's also due for a payday. But if you put those weapons together, Tennessee now, the AFC is competitive, and Tennessee didn't really do anything to bolster their team like the other teams did this offseason. So that could be the move that they make to put themselves back in that. I mean, like, hey, they were the 1 seed last year. They got a great team.
Oh, do they though?
Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to
no, you're right.
Nice to the Titans fans.
They're one of those teams like the Saints that kind of feel like they're in the middle of nowhere. But
you hate the Titans, eh?
But are they not in the middle of nowhere? Does Tannehill feel like he's the guy? Can they get it done? You were the 1
feel like
seed
no one really
year.
thinks Tannehill is like gonna win you a Super Bowl, but like you're close. Like,
okay, but that's what I mean.
Win games,
right? If you get Deebo, you're back to being. You kind of have to consider them a contender. Him, AJ Brown, Derrick Henry. Like Tannehill doesn't have to do much. So I get it in that sense. It does make sense. But funny that you said that, because we'll go with, it's a beautiful transition to a different the AFC South team. Yeah, the Colts.
I like that. But I also want them to get Julio for Matt Ryan. So
right. Well, maybe they get both. Who knows? No. But it's just their wide receiver core, it's Michael Pittman, and then that is literally it. I just think
you don't think T.Y. Hilton's still a wide receiver 1? Come on. What are you?
T.Y. Hilton at how old is he now? 57 years old. It's time. I don't know if he's still wide receiver 1 material anymore, but
he'll be pretty good in his 6 games that he plays next year. So
exactly. And I feel like once a year he torches the Texans. It happens, and I'll have like 2 or 3 touchdowns. Anyways, the Colts make a lot of sense to me. Outside of Michael Pittman, not much. That adds another great threat to your passing game. Everyone knows how good the running game is. And maybe I'm crazy, but I still kind of believe in Matt Ryan that he can be a super solid quarterback. Maybe I'm wrong, but there you go.
I think he can be at least good. And I mean, the Colts, they just needed mediocre in week 18 last year against the Jaguars. And that's why Carson Wentz isn't their quarterback anymore. So who knows? It's a big year ahead for the Colts. Last but not least, I have Deebo Samuel entering a Bill Belichick system, even though he's more the defensive mind. But just look what the Patriots have done with shifty, cool wide receivers like Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, and Deebo Samuel is that and so much more. He's not just this slot guy. He can excel playing in the slot, but he's so physical. You can get him running the ball. Like he does everything. And Mac Jones, he's not a gunslinger. He excels in the short intermediate game. He's pretty accurate there. So I think getting him a guy like Deebo to complement the guy you just brought in, Devontae Parker, who's a phenomenal jump ball wide receiver, would be a great combo and such a big upgrade for the New England Patriots that have just needed a wide receiver for pretty much since they drafted N'Keal Harry.
Oh, that was a great pick too.
Canadian. Shout out N'Keal Harry, friend of the show, actually.
Yes, he's on the podcast next week. He's on the next episode. He's our next guest. Thanks, Alex Collins, for coming on 2 episodes ago or whatever that was. I like that pick. It's one of he might be the only wide receiver, like star wide receiver, that I'd be like, oh, that's cool to see him go to New England, because all the rest of them would probably go there and just die. So there's just imagine if DK went there. He would do nothing. He
would throw his helmet within 3 weeks.
He would do nothing.
Fit on the sidelines.
It makes a ton of sense, though. Like you said, I mean, the similarities are there with Deebo in terms of the Ravens as well, where it's like obviously the New England uses their tight ends a lot. They run the ball a lot, similar to San Francisco. They got Devontae Parker. I don't know how that's going to work out. Seems like a good trade for the Dolphins.
I feel like he might come back to haunt us at least one game this year. He's pretty good. I got to say, he's a good player.
He's always hurt though.
That's the thing. He's never available. The best ability is availability. Speaking of Dolphins, I've seen on Dolphins Twitter, people posting Deebo to the Dolphins jersey swaps. It's like, when will it end? How much more do you guys want? Greedy, man. Save some for the rest of the league.
If you got Deebo, how many teams are better than you in the AFC?
Yeah, the thing is, like, do
Still
we
the Bills,
need Deebo?
Yeah,
like,
no, you need a quarterback.
Oh boy, that's a bad take. I didn't know we were dropping bad takes today. Oof.
All right.
All right. Are we?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave that topic alone, because then this podcast might turn into a 5-hour episode or podcast.
That's right. And then producer Paolo starts screaming in my ear, and then then nobody likes that. It's good. It's good for nobody. All right. We'll move on to what everyone's been waiting for. The most anticipated part of the show, our MLB NFL roster. Disclaimer: what I know about baseball and the positions and what they do is probably doesn't qualify me to do this segment, but
who cares?
So let's go. Let's do this.
Okay, so we're filling out essentially a baseball lineup defensively. We're not going to fill out a batting order, because that would just be like you.
But some of these positions like factor into my.
Okay, that's fair.
My batting,
Okay, yeah.
Just what I think of, like when it.
How do you want? I think this is the best way to do this. I think we do outfield first. So I say my outfield, you say your outfield, and then we go into the infield. Fair? Or you want to do it differently?
That sounds great. That sounds great, honestly. You're the baseball guy here. I'm the golf guy, clearly, with the golf hat. You're the baseball guy
with the baseball hat.
The baseball hat. So I think that's great.
Okay, so I'll start. Okay. Right field and left field. This is very simple. I just chose Mahomes and Josh Allen. We're gunning guys out at the plate, the biggest arms in the league, just gunslingers back there. And I think they'd be decent batters too. I think Josh Allen probably, he has some pop in his bat, I think. So we'll take them just because I don't know how you're going to run on these guys. Now, I know you're not the biggest baseball guy, but you know about gunning guys out at the plate, of course.
Yeah, I do. And maybe I should have been a little bit more considerate with my picks, but I'll tell you who I have.
I didn't even say my center fielder. This goes to show you how much baseball you really know.
No,
you thought there was only two positions.
You go left field, right field. You're just starting. Like I have my.
I did it because there were two quarterbacks.
Fair enough.
Fair. Okay. We're learning here. First time going through this baseball order here. My center fielder is Honey Badger. I need a guy that can just get to the ball, and he kind of just has a knack for getting to the ball. I was going to pick Tyreek Hill, and I was like, first of all, got to show some love to the defense. Tyrann Mathieu, free agent right now, but maybe he's going to sign with a baseball team. That's maybe what's taking him so long. I just feel like he's got a knack for getting to the ball, and I think he reads defense as well. He's going to read the ball off the bat. I think he's going to be a good center fielder. No
disrespect. My team is just going to kill your team.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think so, though, because my infield is money.
It's not even close. All right, let's do this. Let's do this outfield over here. Right field, Kyler Murray. Guess what?
You went boring. Yeah, everyone knows this. Okay.
Kyler Murray was a first-round pick outfielder. So my team's already better than yours.
Okay.
Center field, Odell Beckham Jr. He can make all the phenomenal catches with one hand. And in baseball, guess what? I don't know if you know this. You only use one hand to catch the ball. So he's perfect. Left field, Devontae Adams. Actually, you know what? I'm changing. Not Devontae Adams. This is a sleeper pick. Cedric Wilson, Miami Dolphins wide receiver. I don't know if you've ever seen this guy throw, and that's why I'm putting him in here. Because last year in Dallas, he had a lot of trick plays, and I think he has a better arm than Tua, honestly. Not as accurate, but he can throw further. I have Cedric Wilson completing my absolutely stacked outfield. You want to know your biggest problem? What's my biggest problem? Tell me. When was the last time Odell made it through a 17-game season? You think he's going to be able to make it through 162? This guy's the bench is loaded. This guy's rolling ankles, tearing ACLs, like it's just nobody's business. He's not going to be able to last 162. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see it. That's your biggest flaw. Okay, we'll go infield. I have a pitcher. I'm sure. Do you have one? I do have a pitcher. Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with the pitcher. Actually, we'll do pitcher. You do pitcher. The pitcher was going to be the last thing. You want to do last? Okay, we'll do it last. Okay, my catcher. Then I'll start with my catcher. We're gonna go with George Kittle. Ooh. Big body behind the plate, but also athletic. I was thinking going like an offensive lineman who's like super athletic. I thought about Quentin Nelson, but Kittle just feels like more of an athlete. I think he's going to be able to catch guys stealing. And also he's
he's got a great personality. He's going to keep my pitcher, to be revealed later, in great spirits. So George Kittle's my catcher.
I like that. You actually said my catcher's name, but because I have Quentin Nelson back there.
Okay.
But I ripped your outfield, and I think my outfield is much better. I'm going to start trade talks and potentially going to try to do a 1-for-1 Kittle for Quentin Nelson. But hey, we have Nelson. Maybe it's the weakest area of my team, even though he's maybe the best offensive lineman in the whole NFL. But yes, Quentin Nelson is my catcher. He's going to be back there. He's protecting the plate, just like he protects the quarterback.
Okay, very, very good. Okay, we'll go first base next. I'm going to go Aaron Donald. Big body, but good hands. He'll set up nice to be thrown at and get the guys out of first base. I don't really have much other than also he might be a guy that's going to hit 50 to 60 home runs. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I got to have him in my lineup. He's a good first baseman to have. He doesn't have to move too much, but he's still athletic enough to move in certain situations. He's got good hands. I think he'll be able to pick it at first. We'll go Aaron Donald at first base.
So I have Aaron Donald in my team, but he's not my first baseman. A little spoiler alert for later on. My first baseman is Christian Wilkins, defensive end of the Miami Dolphins. Again, big body, can definitely slug the ball. I'm just talking about the batting side. You know, we know Vladdy plays first base. Not a lot of movement required. Just keep your foot on the bag. I mostly have Christian Wilkins for his energy and his spirit, similar to why you had George Kittle. And I think he'll be a lot of fun in the dugout with his celebrations after he hits a homer. So Christian Wilkins, my first baseman.
All right, we'll go second now. Second baseman. I think he probably hits 100 He drives in 100, and he's not going to have that much power. So he'll hit he'll have a decent amount. He'll hit over 20 home runs, but he's not some masher at second base. We're going to go Cooper Kupp.
Ooh, I like
Cooper Kupp at second base. He's super technical in the route running. He's going to be super technical on defense, going to be able to read the ball off the bat, turn those double plays. I like Cooper Kupp at second.
I think I spoke too soon about your team.
It's nasty.
You're building a good team. My second baseman also competed against Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl. Jesse Bates, safety of the Cincinnati Bengals. Tell me this guy doesn't look like a baseball player. Like if you saw him down the street, he looks like he plays baseball before he plays football.
So look the part, and that's all that matters.
No, he's on-field stuff. Second base, to my knowledge, is a position that requires potentially a lot of anticipation, quickness on your feet. And if you look at Jesse Bates, how he plays safety, he's phenomenal mentally. And I always feel with him, you know, he knows where the ball's going before it's released. And that's why he gets a lot of his interceptions. One of the best safeties in the NFL that doesn't get enough love, but he's getting some love on my baseball team because he's playing second base.
Okay. I do like the pick. I almost picked him for, it might've been, I don't know what position it was, but I was thinking about picking him. And then I decided, you know what? No. Okay. We'll go shortstop. We mentioned him a lot on this podcast. My shortstop is Deebo Samuel. Can do it all. He's going to be able to turn those double plays, good in the infield. I think that's a really good pick. And also I think he's got some power in that bat. I think
definitely does.
I think maybe he's got 30 homers in him.
My shortstop, and I do my research. Hunter Renfroe.
Oh God.
Now, fun fact about this guy, Hunter Renfroe. Is there not a player in the MLB also named Hunter Renfroe?
Oh, there might be. There's a Renfroe. I don't know I think his name is Hunter Renfroe.
There is a Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah,
baseball. He's an outfielder. Oh man. So he plays for the Milwaukee Brewers, but so obviously there's the homage to him. He's going to play a different position. The real Hunter Renfroe, the Raiders Hunter Renfroe. Shortstop. He's quick, shifty, agile, phenomenal catcher. So he's going to stop a lot of those balls in the infield from getting out to the outfield. Hopefully what I'm saying translates to what a shortstop actually does. I think it does.
You'll be on MLB TV in no time.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we'll go to third now. Maybe my favorite pick. I feel like a good third baseman, they got a little bit of cockiness to them, a little bit of swagger, a little bit of ego. And also, they got to have a lot of talent if you're going to be playing the hot corner. Do you know that's what they call it? No, you're not a big enough baseball fan. All right. Well, that's fair enough. Trayvon Diggs is my third baseman.
I like how you're giving love to defense. I haven't done that enough on my team.
Trayvon Diggs, I think I think he's going to be unreal defensively. Obviously, going to be able to read the ball. He's going to be quick, but he's got that cockiness, got that flair. Maybe he's going to go dive for a ball. The hat falls off. Makes the throw, no problem. All that good stuff. And also, I think he's key come playoff time because I think he brings some speed on the bases. So he's going to be able to steal some bags.
I like how you brought in the hot corner term, and then you said a corner that's really was heating up last year. Trayvon Diggs, third baseman, will have the most pop flies caught, most bases allowed.
Nice. Okay.
Is that how's that sound in terms of like baseball stats?
Not good. That doesn't. It doesn't make much sense.
But I was trying to think of something that could tie into like most interceptions, most yards allowed, which is like the Instagram NFL.
You want me to give it? I'll give you an example. Yes. I'll give you an example. The example would be like, to the most yards allowed would be like most errors, but he also like makes like the toughest plays as well, like barehanded.
Yeah, but there's not really a tangible number you can like put on those. So that's why I wanted to go more like concrete.
Fair enough.
Sounded incredibly foolish.
It's okay. Who's the third? Who's third for you?
I have Devontae Adams. Phenomenal stuff.
I don't think this is a good pick.
Oh, come on.
I don't think this is a good pick.
He's got the style, with the dreadlocks. He could just hammer the ball. We know that. He's a great athlete. Third baseman, correct me if I'm wrong, is like, when I think third baseman, I think of Josh Donaldson.
Yeah.
You have to be very athletic to play third base.
Yeah, you do. Yes. Yeah.
You don't think he's a good pick?
I don't, because I don't view him as an athlete in that way.
This is why your team is worse.
On the field, he's super technical and he's unbelievable, an unbelievable route runner.
DK Metcalf, my third baseman. How's that? He can slug the ball.
That's terrible. He can barely like bend down.
Okay, never mind.
His three-cone drill was the worst. What a terrible pick.
Okay, what about AJ Brown? No. You know what? Devontae Adams is my third baseman.
Okay,
we're sticking with him.
Go with your heart. Do you have a single quarterback on your team?
I do.
Oh, at the pitcher.
Yes, most important position.
Oh, and you have Kyler too.
I do.
Okay, I hopefully we don't have the same pitcher, but I think we might.
You already said my pitcher.
I said your pitcher?
Yeah, my pitcher is in your.
Oh, go ahead then.
Patty Mahomes was actually drafted as a pitcher. Yeah, guess what? I do my research for these segments. He was drafted to the Texas Rangers as a pitcher in the MLB draft. He's the best quarterback in the league, and he'll be the best pitcher in our baseball league that we're competing in.
I don't know about this pick. I feel like Mahomes is built
to be. If you have Brady, I'm going to climb through the screen and smack you in the face.
No, I have a way better pick. Mahomes is built to be a closer. I think he comes in and throws like 102 to 104 like 9 times. That's out 3 strikeouts. That's it. My pick is Matthew Stafford. It is the best pick. He has a ton of arm power, but also he played on the same baseball team as Clayton Kershaw, one of the best pitchers of all time, and he probably taught him some things. So I'm banking on him learning from his past and coming in and winning a couple Cy Youngs. So we'll go with Matt Stafford as my pitcher. That's a good pick.
Give a shout out to our buddy Nev, because not only is this going to be his favorite segment ever because he loves baseball, he's going to love it even more now that you just mentioned Matthew Stafford.
Matt Stafford, super fan and baseball. It's the greatest crossover of all time.
And you know what? That shows a lot of growth from your standpoint, because there was a time where you wouldn't even utter Matthew Stafford's name. So it's great that now he's one of the faces of the franchise on your team. I, of course, have Patrick Mahomes as my pitcher. I
have one more pick too.
I have one more position as well.
Oh, you have your DH, but I'm not going to pick
You're
my
in
DH.
the NL.
And exactly. And I'm going to pick my pitcher for batting practice, and that's going to be Tua. Because he would just throw these soft meatballs right over the plate.
Nice, good. You feel good about that one, eh?
I do.
Good.
I like that one.
Feel good. My DH is Aaron Donald. I said he was in my team earlier. Yeah, he's just going to come in, swing. Doesn't even need to come to practice. He's that guy. That's all I'll say about Aaron Donald.
And to tie it up, I'll say my DH is DK Metcalf to tie up the whole episode here. I just think a lot of power. Not sure he'd be the best in the field because he's not exactly great at the 3-cone drill. But we'll go with DK. I think I'll hit, 47 home runs and 132 RBIs.
That's not bad. RBIs are a fake stat, by the way. Don't use that to gauge a player.
What are you talking about?
You know what I look at?
Oh, no, don't say it. I know what you're going to do. Don't say it.
On
Yeah,
base
you think?
percentage.
Yeah, okay. You're Billy Bean. Great job.
Yes, I'm Billy Bean, and that shows with how I built my team. Hunter Renfrow at shortstop.
That's a Billy Bean pick.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Next week, I will be absent from the podcast to take over the role as Oakland Athletics general manager. So you're going to have to find someone else to do the show. Before we wrap up, because we only have 2 minutes left, Masters talk, an NFL player to win the Masters. I guess that's where we're going with it.
I've completely forgotten
Brady's
about
the best
this.
golfer in the NFL, let's be honest. We all saw him with those ridiculous shots when he played Peyton. He's pretty good.
So you think Brady would win the NFL Masters?
I mean, he's a cheater, though. That's the thing. And Augusta's a little more strict than your average course.
Than Roger Goodell.
You know how he rolls. He's a big foot wedge guy. If the ball lands in a tree, he's sort of looking over his shoulder. No one's there. He's throwing it onto the fairway. That's how Tom Brady is. His ball is definitely something funky with it as well. But I'll pick him. Okay,
I'll go with a guy on my baseball team because I'm like racking my brain to think of NFL players who could play golf, and I don't know. But Josh Allen, because I think he's like Bryson DeChambeau. Maybe
I think that's what I was gonna say. Happy Gilmore style.
Exactly. Maybe he can drive the ball 600 yards. So that gives us an advantage.
That's a good pick. All right.
Who's your pick to win the Masters?
Xander Schauffele. No, I'm gonna pick Tiger Woods. I
thought you were gonna pick the Canadian.
Corey Connors?
Yeah.
See, I'm quick with these.
He's in third. He's in third right now.
I know he had a good day yesterday, so that's...
Yeah, so we'll go with the Canadian. Actually, we'll go with Tiger. Everyone picks Tiger, so let's just keep picking him.
When Tiger wins, America wins. That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to our baseball teams. Let us know who has the better team, because I think it's me. Coburn obviously thinks it's him, and we'll see you sometime soon.
Take it easy, guys.